When an October windstorm rips through your neighborhood, that 70-foot pine leaning over your roof stops being a piece of landscaping. It becomes thousands of pounds of timber governed entirely by gravity. If you own property, you know the anxiety of watching weak branches strain over your bedroom. You also know the hesitation that follows. Calling a professional to deal with the problem often results in a quote that runs into the thousands of dollars. Safely dismantling massive timber involves complex rigging, physics-based calculations, and specialized equipment. It is far more technical than simple yard maintenance. To make the right decision for your property, we are going to run an RLI analysis on tree removal. We will break down the exact operational costs, the legal liabilities, and the physical risks that dictate these high bids. Treating a massive, compromised tree like basic lawn care is a massive financial gamble against physics, and physics usually wins. The risk profile of your yard is heavily dictated by the local climate. In regions like the San Gabriel Valley, extended summer droughts pull moisture out of the soil, slowly and silently weakening the deep root systems that anchor heavy canopies. Once the foundation is compromised, seasonal weather changes act as the catalyst for failure. Sudden winter rains loosen the surrounding dirt, and high-velocity Santa Ana winds apply massive lateral pressure to the trunk. Relying on the visual appearance of the leaves is a trap. A tree can look vibrant and green on the outside, while a fungal infection rots the structural wood entirely hollow on the inside. This hazard matrix evaluates the threat. The vertical axis measures proximity to targets, like houses, while the horizontal axis tracks tree health. If your tree lands in this extreme danger zone, actively decaying directly over your roof, you are out of time. In a harsh, variable climate, a compromised tree transforms into a structural hazard, threatening everything within its potential fall radius. The most common financial strategy homeowners use is wait and see. The upfront cost is $0, and the required effort is 0 hours. You simply hope the roots hold. The cost of that delay materializes instantly when the tree finally fails, dropping 2 tons of splintered wood onto your roof and crashing through the structural supports of your home. Many assume their homeowner's insurance will handle it, but read your policy carefully. While insurance generally covers the damage after a tree has fallen on your house due to a storm, companies rarely pay for the preventative removal of rotting timber. They classify that as a routine maintenance issue. Waiting also creates secondary environmental threats. Dead wood is a highly combustible fuel source. Leaving dying vegetation near your home violates CAL FIRE's Defensible Space Guidelines, a set of regulations designed to create a buffer zone that slows the spread of wildfires. Refusing to pay a professional upfront doesn't eliminate your expenses. It simply transfers your risk to an insurance claim, complete with high deductibles, property damage, and the stress of emergency construction triage. If you decide to act, the next temptation is the discount labor bid. This is the unvetted, cash-only crew offering to take down the tree for a fraction of the going market rate. The physical danger here is immediate. Discount crews rarely use technical rigging. Without ropes to control the descent, massive sections of wood are left to freefall, frequently crushing fences, shattering driveways, or tearing down power lines. To understand the stakes, look at the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA. OSHA is the federal agency responsible for workplace safety, and they consistently rank tree care as one of the most hazardous industries in the country. This leads to the core liability trap. If you hire an uninsured worker to save money, and that worker falls off a ladder or is struck by a branch on your property, you can be sued directly for their medical bills and lost wages. Saving 50% on a discount bid means the homeowner is personally absorbing 100% of the legal and medical liability. Some homeowners attempt a bureaucratic bypass. They decide to cut the tree down themselves, or hire someone to do it quickly on a weekend, skipping the local permit process entirely to avoid paperwork and waiting periods. You cannot legally cut down whatever you want. Many cities enforce municipal preservation laws. In California, these rules protect specific heritage trees, such as certain species of mature oaks and California sycamores, requiring strict permits for removal or even significant pruning. These ordinances exist for a specific economic and environmental reason. Large, mature canopies keep the city cooler, improve air quality, and directly increase neighborhood property values. City inspectors actively enforce these protections. If you remove a protected tree without authorization, the municipality will issue severe financial penalties against the property owner. Bypassing City Hall to save a few weeks of waiting usually triggers administrative fines that far exceed what it would have cost to hire a permitted professional in the first place. A premium professional bid requires a higher upfront financial investment, but it secures fully insured crews, workers' compensation policies, and state-of-the-art heavy machinery. The process begins with a rigorous assessment. Professionals calculate the exact lean of the tree, test the structural integrity of the internal wood, and map out the proximity to targets like swimming pools, glass windows, and high-voltage lines. The actual removal is a surgical dismantling. Following protocols set by the International Society of Arboriculture, or ISA, the tree is pieced out section by section. Every branch is secured with ropes and lowered using friction devices, so it touches the ground without impact. The job finishes with stump grinding. Heavy machinery chews the remaining stump 6 to 12 inches below grade. This clears the tripping hazard, allows you to plant over the area, and critically removes decaying wood that attracts termites to your foundation. A premium price guarantees that the project is legally permitted, your property remains undamaged, and all medical and structural liability is transferred entirely to the contractor. It is entirely normal to experience sticker shock when you see a professional bid. But professional quotes aren't arbitrary. They are based on a transparent set of operational variables that dictate the labor required. This dynamic matrix shows the exact cost multipliers. The first two drivers are height and accessibility. More wood requires more hours and higher disposal fees. If the crew has to manually haul heavy logs through a narrow side gate instead of driving a truck up to the trunk, labor time doubles. The third driver is condition. If a tree is rotten or structurally compromised, it is too dangerous for a worker to climb. The crew must deploy expensive overhead equipment, like bucket tucks or heavy cranes, which sharply increases the daily operating cost. Finally, proximity to hazards. Dismantling a heavy limb leaning directly over a glass conservatory or live power lines requires highly complex rigging and takes 3 times longer than dropping a tree in an open field. Your quote acts as a mathematical calculation of the specific physical difficulty and operational hazard the crew is assuming on your behalf. To determine your exact next step, this decision tree flowchart maps out the best path forward based on your specific property constraints. If you have a small, structurally sound tree located in an open yard far away from any structures, you can safely opt for a basic trim, handle the maintenance yourself, or hire a standard landscaper. If you are dealing with dead, rotting, or leaning timber near your roof, driveway, or your neighbor's property line, you must hire a fully insured professional with technical rigging capabilities. And if you live in strict municipal zones and suspect your tree is a protected oak or sycamore, you must verify the local permit requirements with the city before a single cut is made. Hiring an elite tree service secures a barrier against gravity, municipal fines, and the catastrophic liability of a failed removal.